These are many feathers that the king sent for me, of different types from different worlds, and a little vase he had made for me that I bought at a rummage sale for exactly free. This is the sand of a sea that no longer exists. This is a cat made after a dream I had, which I will translate to you the image of the cat in the dream and the children with it. This is a little bird I made that the king sent a small necklace attached to something else to dress my bird with. This is a strange skin camel that's very ugly that was featured on a TV show that my mother was involved with before her death. It was based on her books that she wrote, of which there were quite a few, and a book series called Real Kids, Real Adventures that you may ask her about. This is a little dolphin that I bought in Cozumel, which I love Cozumel. This is a bluebird of happiness, glass blown, only glass, from a place called Terra Studios in Arkansas. This is a dog carved in Jamaica by a Rasta man, a Rastafarian, I guess, rather. This is a golden car, referencing a Monopoly game that one of these, I don't know what to call them, in the shape of my sister, gave me, not knowing what she was actually giving me, but in the language of her culture, which wasn't hers to give, actually. This is a photograph of Michael, as I knew he looked as a man. This is something found at a thrift store that God sent me on the day he sent me a secret message in a book, handwritten on the cover after I asked for it. These are wedding pictures with my Cliff, and this is my Harbor Silas. They're not an excellent photo of him. Many of you know how he looks. And this is another wedding picture. This is a small doll that my supposed father, who was not my father, bought me in Belgium when I asked for a doll. And the thing is, I asked him for a doll, and he came back with this, which probably cost him less than $1. But that's all I got. His love was not profound, that one. Well, my father's was, and brought me fine, fine gifts. These are many of my sunglasses, which I recommend everyone shall have sunglasses because they are very, very fun. This is a stone from a stream near my home, which suddenly became glorified and sparkled and was beautiful, and there were crystals, of which I gathered quite a few. This is a rock belonging to my grandfather that he found above a silver mine, marking it to him in a way that he understood, and I still do not. These were given to me by Aunt Lorraine, and I have kept them, and I thank her for them, and I recommend that all tea sold has little figurines in it like this inexpensively, because it was always very fun. This is Chicken D, is what I called it, though it's not a chickadee, it's just a chicken D is what I called it. Oh, and these are some of the rocks found in my stream that I mounted it on. And this chicken D I threw away long ago, but God returned it suddenly on my porch, in a nook of my porch, and there it was, because I missed it for several days. And so he just brought it back, and we were not in heaven at that point, but he brought it back. These are some shells that he sent me, representing my identity as Venus. This from a world that I went to that suddenly had them, that I was supposedly on in the past. But this one I love. It's so wonderful on the inside, and I would like a bed made in such a way, with a little pocket for myself, but big enough for the king, should he join me in a reduced form, as he likes to. And though we have not wed yet, he says, though we have not wed. Many of you laugh, I know. Yet I do not remember any wedding, so I've told them we must wed. Though I may have whatever lovers I like, he says. But I prefer him. I wonder why. This is a box of stones made of seashells, the container, which I bought, I think, for $2 at a thrift store. Compliments of the king. formed of mother of pearl entire, and within are, which the people there, I'll have you know, did not care about nor notice. This is not a ruby, but a pull chain that my late husband bought for me for the hallway. It's a piece of it has broken, that I loved, so I just stored it in there, because to me it's more precious than all the rocks. But there are many wonders in here as far as stones, and the geologists will have a heyday, I know, looking at many of these things, some of which have been sent back after being stolen, because God just takes them away when they're stolen and keeps them, and not until I get there. My father, my actual father, gave me this pillow with a little golden shoe on it with crystals. And he said, now you won't have to wait for a prince to bring it back, because I was a single mother after Edward, Sebastian's father, his abandonment and abuse, and was alone, waiting for the man that God promised I would be brought to. So my father gave that back to me, and I said, but there's only one. And he said, yes, they were all the same shoe, so I couldn't get you two of them. So I sighed, but I opened a poetry account called Both Glass Slippers, because I wanted to reference that I actually always have both glass slippers at all times, and I am not waiting on a prince to bring them to me, for I am his, the great God's, and that is who I am. I wrote a poem around then that delighted the king, and that for reasons he will not name, on that day he decided that he must have me forever, and so he will, as he has everything he wants. Anyway, I like Chinese lanterns. I always have. This one is a new one of somewhere I was, with a switch on the base that when I flip it, lights with a safe lighting that glows in the dark, but you can't see it because we're in a room lit. And he left it in my path where I walk. So I hung it in the trees all night long, because there were fir trees of some kind there. And I thought, well, if it's not there in morning, then someone will have picked it up, because surely they didn't mean to leave it. But I went back, and it was still hung in the tree glowing, the light still having plenty of time on it because of these lights. And so I took it home and hung it up and loved it. So the other day, last week or the week before, I went to a writer's group by men in Garland, Texas. And this was waiting for me, because after I started liking Chinese lanterns, they decorated the whole senior center where my writing group is. Though I'm not a senior, I'm allowed to go. This was left over after they took down the decorations. This is a number of willow tree figurines, which are not carved wood as they look like. And they each reference an event in my life. This is a rose that the king has given me, and promises roses that look like this, even to the sheen, soon, to all of us. He sent both of these things in a thrift store for nothing. This is a golden turtle that King Sebastian gave me, that opens to conceal things, but has nothing important in it at this moment. This is a little robotic elephant, which the king says to activate, and warns that I am running out of film at the moment. This doesn't actually use film. Okay, we'll set him down. Oh, he's touching the bugs. Oh, is he out of batteries? Why is he not working? Because I'm showing it on film. Well, there is already a video of him, you'll be glad to know. These things reference a world that the king is making for me and that I'm designing, called Lindy. It's entire copper, and this references one of his names for me. Thus, some rare laces of a world, not Earth, that you may duplicate at will. Only you will see this video. Earth will not. This references the intergalactic alliance that the king made for me, which sustained me through a recent captivity and torture, poisoning, etc. Though he himself had to hold me in his arms because the poisoning was so profound. This is a lamp that is the only thing in my entire house that King Sebastian Ray has asked for at my death. But I didn't die, at least where it sticks. So I will not be giving it to him, because I say that because Christ resurrected me from the dead, the only time I was actually murdered. This is one of my favorite paintings that I've had for many years, and though people say it is not skillful, it reminds me so much of the sea that I love it dearly and dearly. And this is a photo of my sons taken immediately before they were carried away to captivity for rape and torture and abuse. They have been delivered. Praise God. This, my grandmother will recognize. Yet I tell her this. She never would give me one of these roses. Ask her to make you another, because I am keeping this one. I love this one and always have. You are out of luck. I inherited it. It is my inheritance, and so I will keep it. There are many stones here, strange stones, including this one, which suddenly appeared in a box in my house, and one of these beings claiming to be my late husband had it, although this now doesn't look like it anymore. Do you have the real one, my love? Thank you. Thus, after my son Harbor heard that I went on a cruise, which of course I would have taken him on, but they would not allow me to take my children on trips. So he could only hear about these things from me, which is terrible, because I would come back and say, oh, I just got back from such and such a place, and he would say, oh, I wish I could go, Mama. And I was forbidden to speak anything to him, or they would have withheld my children still more. Yet, King Harbor made me this and said, it is a glass bottom boat for you, Mama. And he used tape to make the glass bottom, and it is among my rarest treasures up here. And I keep it beside a origami made paper that my sons made. And also this vase, which was given by MacArthur to some men, is what my grandmother said. And my childhood castle, which lit, because I used to like to sing There's a Castle in the Clouds, which now is available to you. You will understand why I liked it so well, hearing it. And this is a very strange goose that I made, or duck, goose I think, in my ceramics class. It was already bisque, I didn't form it, but I painted it in gold and so on. Is that true, my love? So he says, you will now find this goose on many worlds, and that it is delicious and lays golden eggs. Only their shells are golden, but inside are eggs, which are more valuable, actually, when you are hungry. And that is all.